All right, and welcome back here to the opening day edition here of the AM Drive here, presented by 12 Ounce Sports, presented by Fanatics. It's opening day, and you got to get your merch. Look at that Philly stuff, just like Mitch Bernstein loves to do it. What are you doing, Mike? Just stop. You stink at baseball.
Come on.
If you want to get the best in MLB merchandise, then you've got to go to mikeandaarondrive.com and do what, Mike?
Click the F.
And when you click that F, it takes you into the Fanatics website. You click add to cart as many times as you can and purchase. And what you purchase helps out the AM Drive tremendously. So for that, Mike, we tell them we thank you.
Amen. What does P stand for anyways?
You know what? You almost lost me when you said that. I was ready to flip this sucker off.
No.
I would have loved, you know what? I love talking to you, Mitch, all the time. I would not have been mad if you did that. That would have been fantastic.
And I just put this on because you said that. So thank you, Mike.
Yes, sir. That's my
All right, we got Mitch Bernstein here, a guest joining us here at opening day. We're so happy to have you, given the circumstances that we have baseball. Last time we talked, we did not have baseball, Mitch. So it's opening day. It's like Christmas morning for the pure baseball fan. So let me see. You woke up, the alarm went off, and your thoughts on where we are today after a tumultuous offseason.
Yeah, I mean it was in question, for a long time. When were we going to start? So like kids in the candy store, it's baseball now until October, and I have the MLB package now. Having moved to North Carolina, I don't have a team to watch on local channels, so we purchased MLB package, and I'm all in, baby. I'm all in.
Oh,
that's the way to do it. I've had that before out here with watching those games. It's incredible. You got to get yourself a 2 or 3 TV setup. I know you want to watch the Phillies, but there's some great games out here on the West Coast. So hopefully, Mitch, you're staying up to watch those. Mike wanted to go over our win totals that we just did last segment.
Yep.
I know he was pandering to your heartstrings here with one of his picks, Mike. But give him a couple of your win totals and see how he feels about them.
So I want to see how you feel about Cubs under 75.5. Can they go back to lovable losers?
I might go a little. They might surprise us a little bit. I think they may go over. I think they'll go over that number. I really do.
I like that.
I think they have, not by much. I mean, they may go to 500 at max. So I think that's a possibility for them.
Okay.
Yeah, you're looking at situations where they the injuries, or maybe they become sellers at the deadline to get you back into your 75 there.
Right. One more I'll have for you. Oh, go ahead.
And the new guy they signed, right? The Suzuki, the international
player, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Player. Yeah, so he may jumpstart him. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what he does for that team. But it's a shame they've lost so many from that team that won. And we'll see. A lot of it's going to depend upon, like every other team is pitching. So we'll have to see what happens. That's what I'm a little worried about with my team here.
Yeah, speaking of your team, I had your team in my list here over 86.5. I feel like you guys and the Braves will make the Mets crumble.
Yeah, when I I have to tell you, every year we talk, and I just heard you guys talking about Aaron the Mets, right? I'll believe it when I see it. And when this news came out about his shoulder blade, DeGrom, I'm laughing.
Right.
Because every year at the beginning of the year, something happens to one of their guys, and from there on, they don't have it. I mean, do they have a potential? Yes, but they're starting Tyler McGill today. I don't know that, and he's out for a long time. DeGrom, they don't even know how long it's going to be. It's at least a month before he starts throwing. Scherzer. Boy, I wouldn't be disappointed if he tweaked that hamstring again.
You know what?
And we'll see how serious it is. But yes, to Aaron's point before you guys went to break, it was show me what you got, because I don't believe it. Now the Phillies, Their issue is pitching depth, and that's a concern. That lineup. I mean, listen, I'm hoping that Harper can continue what he's done. He typically has not. Going into April, he's always cool, and I don't. We would all wish that what he's been doing the last 2 weeks down in Florida will transition to Citizens Bank Park tomorrow. Um, hasn't happened. He'll get his. It will eventually, yes, but typically cold. But that my lineup, that Phillies lineup, oh man, except for the pitching, that's the issue. I don't know that Ranger Suarez is going to be as good as he was at the end of the year. Um, Eflin's just coming back. He had a good outing the other day. Nola had a really good outing his last outing, 9 strikeouts. I mean, he was pitching well. Wheeler hasn't pitched yet. I'm not too worried about that. It's just going to be interesting around the entire league, and everybody's concerned about with their shortened spring training, what the pitchers are going to, and how many injuries are going to crop up early.
And speaking of injuries, let's look at one of my win total picks here and injuries to the pitching staff and just the pitching staff in general here. I'm not in love with the Toronto Blue Jays like the rest of the MLB fans are. I understand, Robbie Ray's gone. He's a Cy Young winner. Kevin Gausman comes in to be the ace of this. It just doesn't scream ace to me. Mm-hmm. I understand the infield. I mean, that's one of the best infields I've ever seen in my life with Vlad, Biggio, Bichette, and Matt Chapman, 100%. Yes. But I'm not as high on this team. I mean, they're playing in a tough division. With the exception of the Orioles, they're going to be playing tough games night in, night out. I'm taking the under 92.5 wins on this one. I don't think they're quite there yet. Mitch, tell me why I'm wrong.
I'm looking at it this morning's article by Ken Rosenthal about the hype surrounding the Blue Jays. And he said, as you have just alluded to, that he wasn't convinced the Blue Jays are much improved over 2021. He does mention the infield better. And one scout said they're the most complete team to watch right now. George Springer, if he's healthy. They have Jose Barrios.
They have Ryu, who's an innings eater, but not a great pitcher, in my opinion.
Yeah, again, the pitching is going to be their biggest issue. And I think that number is right on, though.
Okay.
I think the number is right on.
You think they're going to win the AL East?
I don't know. You look at the Yankees. I had Julian Guillarte on my show Tuesday. Wow. And there was a graphic that was posted about the Yankees lineup. And they're carrying 18 pitchers initially, which a lot of teams are carrying anywhere between 15 and 16. I think he said they're carrying 18 or 16. I don't know. I don't remember what it was. But that lineup is tough. If they can, again, Judge, stay away from injury. Stanton, stay away from injury. DJ, Donaldson, if they stay healthy, they're going to be like the Phillies in the National League East. They're going to score a lot of runs. The pitching, I mean, Severino, we'll see what happens. It's Garrett Cole. Can he have a really good, consistent long-term season? If they do, I think they win the East.
I have a question for you, Mitch.
Yeah.
Somebody named Canova on Twitter, when I tweeted out our list of top 5 teams, did not like the Dodgers talk. They said every year they can't make it through the playoffs because the old men they put together as a team are tired and injured. That's why they can only win it all in a 60-game season. It's been the same story since the 80s. Pick literally anyone else. Are you a fan of the Dodgers, or are you kind of fading them like you are the Blue Jays?
I'm not a fan of Dave Roberts, but listen, Jimmy Rollins did that in 2007. And the Phillies, won, right? He put it out there, Roberts. We're gonna win the World Series. Now he's giving that challenge to his team to do it. I think that listen, the Dodgers are so deep. It's sickening. It's amazing. Yeah. Now I don't know. It's going to be interesting with that team. They just picked up Kimbrel, right?
Right.
Let's see how he performs.
Aaron, you did mention Kimbrel.
He's a wild card. I
Yes.
mean, but Kenley Jansen was too at the end of the
Yes, he was.
last two seasons. So I don't know how much you're really changing in that aspect. But yeah, Kimbrel, hell, since 2017 has been a question mark, but a good question mark.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, well, listen. When I wouldn't mind having him. We Phillies have Knable and Familia, and if they can, the biggest issue is, and I have, when you watch the playoffs and you watch these relief pitchers come in, they're throwing 95 plus, and they're throwing strikes. This is
Hmm.
what the Phillies have had a problem with with their relievers, Hector Neris especially. Bye bye Hector, see you later. Have a nice time in Houston. But I just can only hope if they throw strikes, right? Um, that's what they need to do as a reliever. You need to have a secondary pitch. Chapman with the Yankees, Julian said to me, he goes, he's got to develop that third pitch. You know,
Mm.
and play, as you know, sitting on fastball, I don't care how fast it is, 100 miles an hour, 99, whatever it is, they're going to hit it. So you got to develop that secondary pitch, third pitch, to keep him off balance as a really good reliever. We'll see. Kimbrel can be good. We know his history. We'll see what happens. Kenley Jansen. What I love, guys, about this season, so many big of trades of big players to other
Hmm.
teams, and how are the comparisons? What are they going to be? We have so many things to compare to, i.e., Freddie Freeman, right?
Ah,
I mean, and Acuna came out yesterday, blasting him, right? And they didn't get along. Okay, is that an ego
wow.
thing? I don't know. Um, I don't know how you can't love Freddie Freeman.
That's what I'm saying. How
It's
not
hard.
get along with him?
That's Mike, right? How do you not get along with Freddie Freeman? So I think it's an Acuna issue himself,
Mm.
um, and you know, let's see what he can do. He's not playing. I just read yesterday he's not going to be in starting lineup till May.
No, yeah,
He's
he's
still not
gonna be
totally
out for a
recovered.
little bit.
So
Uh,
it's going to be interesting to watch the Braves team. Yeah, the Braves are the team to beat, absolutely. Um, but let's see how the Soroka's not coming back. So their pitching also isn't that great. They listen. You can't beat what they picked up at the end of the year to take them to the promised land in terms of free agency. But it'll be interesting to see how the NL East plays out too, as we talked
Mm.
about at the start.
Yeah, let's. I'd be remiss if we didn't talk about this before we go to break here. Let's talk about the biggest pivot in Major League Baseball this year, and that's all teams are going to use the designated hitter. I think this is such a tremendous, you know, change for baseball. A league that's so kind of almost reluctant to change. I think this is going to be great for those National League teams, especially those old teams.
Yeah.
Like your boy on Twitter said, like these teams are going to fade and wear down the stretch. I don't know if that's necessarily the case now when they can have days off and still get plate appearances.
Yeah, it's again as a traditionalist, DH don't like.
Oh.
Right. That's what I was, Mike, because because I'm old. Okay.
Oh my God. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. It's okay. Did you get blinded? There's not much there. Um, but I bought into it. Listen, let the pitchers focus on pitching. Sit them in a dugout. They don't have to worry about getting up there. That's fine, especially this year, right? They're not going to hit. Why even have the pitchers hit? It's not going to happen. It never really does. Um,
Right.
and listen, people want more offense. And I'd rather watch at this stage of the game. Back in the old days, I loved the 2-1, Bob Gibson, Tom Seaver matchup. I mean, listen, we also loved an 8-5 game, but you're getting more of those this year with these teams and the ability to hit the ball out of the ballpark, score a lot of runs. So I'm for it. I think the players are. I think the teams are, and I think it'll be fun to watch. Is the strategy gone for bunting? Doesn't mean other people can't bunt. Now the strategy turns to the big thing was the shift, and
Hmm.
these guys hitting into they shift you, just hit it to the opposite way. They don't do that for some reason. So it's interesting.
That's
One more quick thing about this is interesting about my Phillies, real quick. So Kevin Long, the new batting coach for the Phillies, right? Popular guy with the Nationals, helped with Harper. He said his easiest fix ever was Mickey Moniak this year. Easiest fix. And so what it tells me is who the hell was playing with a batting coach last year? You can't figure this crap out. Somebody did. Look at Moniak's done this whole. They were forced to put him on the opening day roster.
Right.
So it's a good thing when you have somebody who knows what they're doing as a coach. And for all of baseball, I'm talking on the Phillies, the easiest fix he's ever had. So obviously it's very simple, but somebody didn't get it in the Phillies organization last several years. So I'm looking forward to that, to him playing. It's going to be tough for Girardi he says he'll do it, but I don't know how you continue to platoon guys and get them regular at bats. I'll be interested to see how that happens.
Well, that helps with the universal DH that we're talking about there. But
yes, for that team, absolutely.
All right, Mitch, before we let you go, in a perfect world where no injuries, no trades, or no nothing occurs, why don't you go ahead and give us a World Series preview, a matchup of sorts, if you can?
Well, it's interesting. A lot of people are picking the Brewers.
I like the Brewers.
Surprise team, Phillies and Yankees.
Ooh.
I would hate. God, I would want to just light both those places on fire.
I could see those two. I could see those two teams having good seasons, Mitch. I like that. That's
yeah, good God, that'd be hell for Twitter, dude.
It's a little wild, but you know what? Anything can happen.
That'd be wild,
wouldn't it? Though, 2009 rematch.
Yeah, that's true. That's the one the Yankees won, correct?
Yes.
I wasn't sure if you would remember that specifically.
No, I remember.
So I just wanted to make sure.
I was calling a radio station right after the last out of that 09 series, and I was pissed off. I hated Charlie Manuel and what he did. I'm the only one in Philadelphia who isn't a Charlie Manuel fan. The only one.
Well, Mitch, enjoy opening day, opening weekend, and of course, enjoy the baseball season.
Absolutely.
You can catch his show, The Burn with Mitch, on Tuesdays on 12 Ounce Sports, and you can catch him on Twitter at Phil's Fanatic. Mitch, we thank you so much for coming aboard, and enjoy the weekend, my friend.
Thanks, guys. You too. Appreciate it. You do great work. Keep it up.